Okay, welcome back everyone to another episode of Yoda's Hut. I'm Bill. I go by Yoda Man on the boards, and once again I'm joined by Derek. Hey Derek, how's it going today?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, so in this game we're going to see a matchup between myself, I'm sitting on the right, against Justin out at Gamers Armory. Last week before the hurricane hit North Carolina, I went out there and we got a couple games in when I was on fall break. I am playing a deck that was suggested by Royal Aegis on the boards. It is Scum affiliation. It has one masterful manipulation, two I don't like you either, one lucrative contract, two Fall of the Jedi, two Emperor's Web, one Plan of the Prophetess, and one Emperor's Cabal. That is the new Sith set from Wretched Hive. And Justin was playing a Smuggler Jedi deck that he put together with one of the new sets. It's a Smuggler affiliation, and he had two of the Last Warrior, which is the Zeb pod, two Hero's Journey, two In You Must Go. He was being a little brave there running Core Yoda. Two Survivors, one Secret of Yavin 4, and then this one really caught me off guard. He had one Message from Beyond. So, Derek, you got any initial thoughts on these deck lists here that we're going to see in action in a minute?
Well, actually, I was considering building a deck very similar to the one that Justin built. Message from Beyond is dangerous because it's got zero units in it,
Right.
but I can tell what he's doing. He's clearly building around the enhancement and the Chud in Zeb's set that lets you put the enhancements and things like that in for free.
Right.
Again, working with Yoda, again, it's focused around enhancements.
Right.
And obviously the beatdown with Luke, to getting those on there.
Yeah.
I have a hard time deciding which Luke to use because the other one is the Endor Luke is so good for enhancements, but then the lightsaber, the trust, and the resource and everything, it's so hard to go wrong with Core Luke.
Right.
So yeah, I can definitely see what he was going for.
Right.
I was a little interested by the one you're playing because there's so many pods in there that, like the Cabal and stuff, is great for the Sith control. But like Zizor, for example, I never see him as a one of because he's so good. But I can see, the deck is a 6-4 split, and he wants to use the new stuff. And I think he likes those corrupt officials. So
Right.
which I personally I don't use anymore. I can never find room for them.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think you could run two Z's or two, Doc and still have room for a corrupt official. So.
Right, right. And the thing about the corrupt officials is they only protect Scum objectives, so they're not
Yeah.
they don't help you with any of the Sith objectives being out. But looks like we got started here. I think I started Emperor's Web, is that Emperor's Cabal and Masterful Manipulation. And I got a resource out. I think that was a prized possession, and then thanks to Masterful Manipulation I was able to play Vader first turn, so that's not too bad.
Yep.
And Justin started with Hero's Journey, Survivors, and Message from Beyond. I think or is that In You Must Go? I'm trying to think.
I think it's In You Must
Yeah,
Go.
that's right. It's In You Must Go. That's right. He had In You Must
Yeah.
Go. And he just discarded the bow rifle, which you can play from discard. So that's always
Yeah, I love
an easy
seeing that in
choice
my
to throw
opening
out.
hand.
Yeah. So
I never feel like I'm losing a card when I discard that.
Although
I forget it's in my discard pile sometimes and don't put it out.
Right, right. So now I've got Core Vader out, so I can do some pinging with him. Of course, Survivors being out for Justin on the left here will help prevent 1 point of damage. So Vader and his reaction doesn't quite get the same mileage sometimes as you might want it to, but
Yeah, and it's whenever you do Sith stuff. So since you've got, the deck's got 4 Scum pods in it, you're not going to get all that mileage out of Vader that you normally could in a mono deck.
right. Although there still are, I guess, 4 Force Chokes. There's Force Lightning. There's
Sure.
Deadly Sight in here. There's the couple events from Emperor's Cabal, and Emperor's Cabal lets you recycle the stuff too. So.
Right, and so you do have, that's the advantage of also having the new objective, Doc's objective, that lets you duplicate
Right.
things like events, but the problem is, are you really going to do 2 damage to your objective to duplicate a choke?
Right.
Probably not. So, the only real targets it's got is maybe Force Lightning if there's a couple guys that are focused that you want to hit, or, Deadly Sight. So I don't know you're going to get all the mileage out of that objective in this split.
Right. So Justin played a believer in the old ways and a guardian of peace, and I had a choke, so I was able to choke the guardian and then react with Vader's reaction, doing extra damage to it. And I think he thought he could protect with survivors, and I reminded him that survivors only works for unique Jedi units, so he couldn't use it to protect the to prevent something from guardian. And I think I'm using Emperor's Cabal now to actually get probably shuffle the choke back in my deck. So,
Yeah, I've really come to like that objective.
yeah, you can really do some abusive things with it if it gets out. It's hard to go wrong with it, to be honest with you, with some of the stuff you can do.
Yeah, and you've got Masterful and Emperors. Those are both one-ofs in your deck. You're
Right.
lucky to get those.
Yeah.
You're going to cycle under your Masterful there, which you almost forgot to do.
Yeah, I almost did, and then I remembered I wanted to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that one way you could look at it is running, to get another Zazor in there, is the fact that you can always shuffle that in. So
Right.
it's really hard. Even if you had a 5-5 split, it would be really hard to lock yourself out of a resource, but the problem is you gotta run that Scum resource. So you may have a turn or so where it happens,
Right.
but there's only 3 potential objectives you could have out that would not give you a resource or the ability to cycle it a turn later.
Right. And so I just flipped up lucrative contracts, so he's probably wondering what the heck I did with why I had that in there. So,
well, lucrative it's a double resource.
Right.
It gives you a twist. It gives you a enhancement destruction. And the main unit in there is, he's 5, but he's got good icons. He's got good health, and he's can be used for resource. He's very versatile. But I think most people, when they play him, they play that pod for the corrupt officials,
right.
And you just don't get any mileage out of them, and unless it's a mono deck.
Right. Well, it's a lot harder to get it out, that's for sure. So
yeah, like in this case, if I'm in his position, I just don't attack that lucrative contract. I go for the other 2.
Right. So I played a deck collector and I played Dr. Evanson. So not bad having him out.
Yeah, the Doctor's pretty good.
All right, so again, he's from the new Wretched Hive set. For as you just getting into it, so what his action is, you can target another unit you control and an enemy unit with the same printed cross, and you treat both of them as if their text boxes were blank till the end of the phase. So it's sort of like a Tarkin effect, but you have to affect your own and somebody else.
I had that done to me last night on Octagon, using some old crazy rebel stuff. I had my Bright Hope that would not untap, and I had the little chuds that you attack to draw cards with, and they were getting blanked, so I wasn't drawing my cards. And
yeah.
Granted, it was just a little fun deck, but it was still obnoxious.
So Justin just played Kuran and then 3PO'd, so he can 3PO you can always sacrifice to get rid of events. Of course, I could probably get rid of 3PO with Vader's reaction pretty easily here.
Yeah, and if you've got, off the top of my head, I can't think if there are any 1-cost units in your deck, but if there are, you can just as easily blank 3PO.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything 1-cost in this deck, to be honest with you.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I can't remember the deck list right off either.
And so Justin just committed everybody to take balance, so the dial's only going to go to 4 at this point. And I think at that point I thought, well, I'll take that. Go ahead, commit all this, guys.
Yep.
And
then there's nothing over there threatening either.
No, I just got a Dark Temple. More resources on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Resources are always good in this game.
Yeah, and he's got survivors. The only thing he's really got over there is Kuran to divert damage from.
Right.
Q-Ron is also a 4-cost. If you can find a 4-cost unit to blank him with.
Yeah, that's true. I guess like Saris or something.
Pono Baba.
Yeah, or Panda Baba. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to do, obviously. I don't know if maybe I didn't draw many units this time. And one thing about most of those Sith pods is they usually only have 2 units. There's only a few that have 3. So you can occasionally get those draws where you don't have as many units. But it looks like I'm hanging on to
draw.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. I guess I'm waiting to see if Justin has actions. I'm going to commit Dr. Evanson, and then I'm going to take the Force back.
Well, yeah, he's got all 3 out there, so you've got 2 now, and you've got Force, which means he needs to make a move,
right?
Or the dial's going to start clicking.
I think I saw explosive charge from lucrative contracts in my deck, which lets you destroy any enemy enhancement that costs the same or less than the number of enhancements you have out, if I remember right. So there he's got Core Yoda out, and then he just gave Core Yoda a lightsaber, Jedi lightsaber.
You can get big pretty quick.
Yeah, and with Ron and Survivors out, that definitely is you can get by with Core Yoda there and really get him to be a powerhouse if you load him up. They used to call him Christmas Tree Yoda. Since Core Yoda has that ability that he gets an edge blast and an edge gun for every enhancement that's on him.
That's the one downside you got is you got the Doctor out there for blanking, but the only thing you've got is a 2 and a 5 cost.
Right.
And all his important things right now are 1, 3, and 4.
Right. I mean, Dr. Evanson does have white tactics at least, so you could potentially win an edge battle and focus something down, but...
Yeah. Yoda is scary, because even if you do block and win, damage is going to move to Q-Ron, which is going to come right back at you.
Right.
So, he's looking like he's attacking that. Well, maybe you might get a chance to use a corrupt official if you got it.
I know. I think that's what I was thinking when he did this. I'm like, I think I had one in my hand. Now, one thing I almost forgot to mention is that Dr. Evanson is a mercenary, which means the fact he's, even though I committed him, lucrative contracts you can use. Its ability is you can remove a focus token off a bounty hunter or mercenary unit after you refresh. So he's basically elite while lucrative's out. That might be why he's attacking it, to try to keep me from having that ability to to free it up. But so it looks like I pitched in 3 and he pitched in, was that a heat, I think?
It's got 2 pips, whatever it is.
Yeah, so he's got the...
So he's not going to win edge.
No, so I want edge, so I'm going to get to focus Yoda down, which is I'll take. Although, I guess I could let him Yoda get off, but Yoda's got the black tactics. I got to think I'll focus Yoda.
Well, he's also got black gun and blast from that Jedi lightsaber.
Yeah.
So you'll lose the Doctor if you don't focus him.
Yeah. I might be trying to think about playing an event here before I strike, it looks like. Because I've got that explosive charge, so I might try to get rid of the lightsaber. Now...
that if he doesn't sack 3PO, you can ping 3PO with Vader anyway, so that'll get rid of 3PO.
Well, I can't ping 3PO since that's not a Sith event.
Oh, you're right. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't do it. But Emperor's Cabal lets you shuffle any event back in. It doesn't actually have to be a Sith event, so that's...
Right.
So that's actually useful. So he actually chose to not cancel with 3PO. I think he was worried I had something else I could use. And so now Yoda's a lot less scary. He's got the tactics, but it might be worth my end, like, focusing Ron or somebody down even. Oh, actually, he's changed his mind. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I probably will want to focus 3PO. He decided, focus Yoda, since he's going to...
Yeah, now I think you got it. Because it's not worth it to focus one of the other guys and lose the Doctor.
No, it sure isn't. He's got 2 Believer in the Old Ways out now. So I tried to shoot Yoda, and he used Survivors rather than bouncing to Ron. So
it'd be nice if you could get a Protector out there, because given that you've seen Guardians, he's got deflection in his deck.
Right. Yeah, so he's gonna basically get nothing in with Yoda.
No, but
Is
now
it?
you don't have any tactics, and he can still protect, so he can
Yeah.
send those guys in.
Yep. So
So
he's
that might have just been his whole thing. He just wants to get damage on the board.
right. So he is going to attack Emperor's Cabal with the Believer in the Old Ways, and got an edge battle here. Looks like I had two, and I think he had two. I think he had well equipped, so he just freed up Yoda. And I had
That's not
preparation.
good.
Yeah, and I had preparation and planning, which
Well,
means that
that.
can reduce the cost of the next event card I play by two.
Well, you already got reduced one. Well, no, I guess he. Now, since he canceled that event, would the Emperor's Web, does that trigger with that?
It would
Because I
have,
think that.
except Web only works with Sith events too. So
Yeah, I was
yes,
just thinking in theory. So, but
yeah.
right
So
now
in theory, I could reduce by three.
right now you could play a 5-cost Sith event.
Right. If I needed to, I could.
Actually, 6.
Yeah, actually seven, right? Because I could technically. I
Well,
got
you
five
have.
resources or eight with preparation and planning.
Oh, I
And
was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking the other, the lucrative was focused,
no,
but
lucrative isn't even focused.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, it's not like you needed the prep and planning. You got all the resources you could need.
yeah, I probably just pitched it in because it does have two pips. So Justin's
Yeah.
probably trying to decide: does he want to just commit Yoda and take balance, or does he want to go ahead and swing with Yoda again since he bothered to try to keep him alive? He'd have to swing at Webb now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he only has one card in hand too, so there's probably a good chance he's going to lose edge because you've got
Right,
two.
right.
The what he will get out of it is the trigger to Q Ron.
Yeah, and he also could force me to have to. He could triple focus Vader if I defend. Because I don't have
Yeah,
tactics, I wouldn't be able to kill Yoda because of
right.
Ron being out. So, so I think Justin has an interesting decision here. I mean, since he sacked 3PO, he's got the Force card free, so he could commit Yoda and certainly take balance back and also make it awfully hard for me to get balance back. And it looks like that's what he's going to do. So Dial's going to go to 5.
Interesting.
And then
I
I'm
don't know
using
which.
lucrative to
I'm
free up Dr. Evanson.
Yeah. That's a tough call. I'm not sure if I would have attacked or if I would have waited on that. Because being
Yeah.
able to lock Vader again for another turn also makes it hard for you to get Force back.
Right, right. I got another resource there. Looks like a Sith library this time.
Yeah.
So he's got 9 on the Force right now with Ron the Believer and Yoda. I've only got 6, so Palpatine would be good right now.
I
Take
was
Force
just
back.
about to say that.
Do I have Palpy? I got enough resources to play him, that's for sure.
And then some.
Yeah,
You could play Palp and a 2-cost.
yeah,
Royal Guard would be a good match.
yeah. Definitely Royal Guard. And there is the Outer Rim Space Pirates. Okay.
Well, that's got a tactics, and it's got
Yeah,
4 health.
and it's got more resources. It's got a couple guns. I'm trying to figure out how I want to pay for it. I'm probably trying to figure out how I want to pay for it because I bet I got events I'm going to try to use here.
hmm
And so I left 2 Sith resources open and a double
The,
focus lucrative.
the main problem you've got is Q Ron working with Yoda. It's
Right.
at some point you might just decide, you know what, I'm going to attack. I'm going to let Q Ron do his thing, and
I
well,
went
there.
to conflict and deadly sighted the Believer in the Old Ways. Or whatever that, yeah.
Yeah, and he triggered survivors.
Yeah, he triggers survivors. I was probably trying to get a damage on Ron so he couldn't send
Exactly,
as much back.
What I was saying is you might get to the point where, you know what, you just need to eat the 2 damage that Q Ron's gonna put on your objectives and just start, because then he'll be out of his protect, and then you can start doing some real damage.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to run into the same problem. Yoda's going to be coming again, and it's going to go to Q Ron either way.
Yep. So I did commit the Outer Rim Space Pirates, and it's 3 Force icons is going to let me take Force back since I deadly sighted his Believer in the Old Ways. So I got 9 on the force now, and he's only got 8. And that is also a mercenary unit, which means I could clear it off if I needed to.
Yeah. I remember like way back. I don't remember what I was doing with it, but I was using that same thing with the Ugnaught, because he like removed a token or did something like removed a damage from a droid or some weird thing like that, and I was chaining like those 3. Like I was using the actions of the objective to be able to keep unfocusing Ugnaught and to keep doing. I can't even remember what he does off the top of my head, but that was the only time I remember ever really getting use out of the Ugnaught.
Yeah, I don't remember what the Ugnaught does either. So he just got a resource, and they played the Freelance Slicer. So as an action, he can look at the top card of his deck. If it's an enhancement, he can put it into play.
That's going to be a problem.
And he just got flipped up another resource. He flipped up a Dagobah Training Grounds, it looks like. And he also put an Old Ben Spirit on Yoda.
Ugh.
While we were...
You really need that explosive charge now.
Yeah, I've used it before. I need to draw it again somehow here.
Yeah. Yeah, because now Yoda's a big problem.
Yeah, he's got the lightsaber. He's got Old Ben Spirit. So if he can win an edge battle, Yoda's pretty pumped up. And he's going to put Xi'an training on Ron.
Yeah. Now you've got problems.
Yep.
Because Ron, you're not even going to be able to get damage through when you want to, and Yoda is just going to start wrecking your board.
Yeah.
And you can't even kill Yoda now.
It'd be awfully hard. I'd have to get him twice. And take care of Ron. And survivors.
And Old Ben Spirit.
Right.
And the Ron with the Shin.
Right. Yeah, that's just brutal.
God help you if he's got a Force Rejuve in his hand.
And he's got the resources to play it, too.
Yes, he does.
Now, he doesn't have much in the way of cards for an edge battle, so he might need to sit back here and try to keep building a board. Make it a little
The funny thing is, in terms of long term, if you draw something like another Deadly Sight or a way, I think the thing you got to get rid of is that stupid Chud that's going to give him more enhancements every turn.
Yeah, exactly. So looks like he might be thinking of swinging here.
I think I would if I'm in his position. Yoda is just. I don't see how he doesn't blow up an objective between the Shin potential, the damage Curon can deal back if he takes it, Yoda's ability to swing for so much. Right,
yeah, I mean, I almost have to block if he goes in with Yoda just to try to turn off all that edge-enabled stuff, because, I mean, right now he's got 2 enhancements, so he's got 3 white blast and 3 white guns, but he's also got a black blast and a black gun. So, he went after lucrative. I let it go and played a corrupt official.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, he's looking at where. I think he wasn't expecting that. He was trying to get it so I couldn't unfocus my guys. I guess it does make sense. It might have been attacking that. Yeah. So he's just gonna get the unopposed there.
Yep.
So that was a pretty timely corrupt official. It only worked because of what he tried to attack there.
Yeah, I am noticing too now, looking at what you got in play, and big units that we haven't seen like Zizor or Palpatine. Oh, there you go.
No, I'm gonna try to Force Lightning him.
The problem is all that does is get rid of Obi-Wan's Spirit.
Right. Yeah, I'll get rid of Old Ben Spirit or whatever it's called, but
yeah. What is that?
Oh, that was an awesome play. I remember this now. So that is the event that nobody seems to like from the Emperor's Cabal, which is Executive Override. When an enhancement's ability is triggered, cancel its effects. So what I did there was I canceled the effect of Old Ben's Spirit and killed Yoda anyway.
Oh. Ouch.
So I guess I figured he'd use it, but I had a way to cancel Old Ben Spirit. So that was awesome. I think we were rereading how Old Ben Spirit deck technically triggers because it's an interrupt that just saves the unit before it dies. So that's one way to get rid of Christmas Tree Yoda. So I did that
Wow.
before the unopposed even, which meant he actually got no damage on lucrative contracts. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was called, but I knew that's what it does. It
Yeah.
cancels the
No, I
enhancements.
remember
Yeah.
the card now. Yeah.
Right. And I know it hasn't been getting a lot of love on the boards, and everybody's kind of said, well, it's a 3-pip card. How often are you going to get to use it? Well, that was a great case of being able to use it. That or a Shien training I could have used it on. So there was, yeah, that was useful there.
Yep.
So I guess now Justin's kind of in a tough place here. Does he really want to send the slicer in? It looks like he is.
Yeah, I guess if you had a 3 damage unit, it would have been good to block with and let him protect it all to Q-Ron, and you cancel the Shin training, and Q-Ron just dies without deflecting anything.
Right. So I let him swing with the freelance slicer and get 2 damage in on Cabal.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be able to take force back here. So.
Yeah, what I was starting to say earlier, before all that, was thinking like the units you got, Xizor, Palpatine, that you haven't played. You've got almost no 3 and 4 cost units in your deck, which is why Dr. Evans is not paying off for you.
No.
You've got a lot of 5s, and you've got the Palpatine, which is a 6. So most of the big light side units are 3 and 4. You've got Yoda, and then you've got all your Lukes, your Q-Rons. The only thing you can effectively blank now would be like a Falcon or an Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I'm trying
but
to figure out.
You can't do anything against Yoda or Luke or Q-Ron.
I'm trying to figure out if I missed the damage on Webb because I put 3 on there instead of just 2. I thought he just swung with the Believer. Oh, he swung with the Believer and Ron. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, Ron's focused. Well, I guess it's only 1 point away from kill if he protects. But now he has, I guess it's the fact he knew he wasn't taking force, he's going to do as much damage as he can.
Yeah.
Because he's in kind of not so good a shape now that he lost his Yoda.
Yeah. Especially because he had Yoda pumped up, and I was able to take off all those enhancements there.
Yeah, and the reason I think he sent Ron also was because, granted, Ron would have been better to send separately because you get another unopposed, but that was his 3rd attack.
Right.
So that's why he just added him and got 1 more blast.
All right, so it looks like I just played the Imperial Senate card, which is after you play an event card, you can place 1 shield on a target Sith unit or objective, limit once per turn. And the nice thing about that, again, too, is it's any event. It doesn't have to be a Sith event to be able to put the shield on.
Yep. And I love being able to do that at any time.
Right.
Like, if, for example, he sends in both Believers, at Emperor's Web, and you block, and he gets 1 blast off. If you had a shield on it, for example, already, 1 guy swings, and then you play another event, and you put another shield back on it right before the second guy swings.
Yeah. And so there is Palpatine here. And I think I need to pay 1 more.
Yeah, I think you...
Yeah, there we go. Deck collector. Yeah, so I got Palpatine, Vader. I got the Shadow Guard out to help me get shields on things potentially, as long as I got some events here. I think I'm looking to see what I might want to take back with Cabal.
Take back that event that you could cancel Shin training with.
Right. So I could have send somebody in here and try to lock down his board, I guess, if I wanted to.
The funny thing is he doesn't have really anything scary. Q-Ron is not elite.
No.
So you don't really have anything to worry about.
Now, if anything, I'd be better off just send Vader and just get some damage on an objective, maybe.
Actually, if I were to do it, I would probably send Palpatine just because you can send 1 unit, you can do 3 objective damage, and you can put extra focus on all 3 guys.
Yeah, that's true. Or I could even be really brave and send Palpatine and Vader and blow something up so I could get an event right back to my hand if I wanted to.
And if you were gonna do that, it would, hell, actually, the one to get back would be your Force Lightning if you haven't
Right.
reshuffled it in,
Right.
because you'll be able to take out Curon next turn.
Right.
And the clear objective to go after would be survivors, with
Right.
Vader being out there.
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah, in fact, given that you've got tactics with your pirates over there, and you've got a couple other blockers, I actually think I would probably do that, assuming you've got a good event in there that you can use to get rid of Curon with.
Yeah. Now I had to double focus Dark Temple. I guess I didn't have to, but I wanted to leave my pirates open, so I'm not going to have any Sith resources to use on my turn, unfortunately.
Right, but yeah, if you've got, even getting the Force Lightning to save it for your turn, Curon's not going to wake up, and you would put a bunch of tactics out there with Palpatine if you did that.
Right. The one advantage with not attacking with Palpatine is it would give me a way to block and not have to worry about triggering Ron. So I guess I'm just going to Force. I took an event card to shuffle back in. I'm not sure what I took. Maybe I took that executive override because of Shien. And I can't commit Palpatine because I already got 3 things on the Force. But Palpatine being there, like I said, he's a good blocker because I could block with Palpatine, and then since he doesn't have any guns, I don't have to worry about stuff going to Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I could have locked down his stuff then.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the danger of seeing Luke or seeing, like another Yoda or something. So,
Right.
I mean, it's not the end of the world to save those guys, but you could, at the same time, you had other guys with tactics too.
Yeah, there is another Guardian of Peace.
That's a potential shield. That would make it harder to get rid of an objective.
Yeah.
Is the dial at 7? Is that
the dial's at 7. So he's got 3 damage on Webb and 2 on Emperor's Cabal, and he is putting on. That's the enhancement from Zebset. I'm trying.
Yeah, it gives it an extra health, and it can focus for a resource, and when that objective leaves play, he gets the enhancement back.
Right, improvised defenses. So yeah, that's a pretty good resource, even though you have to put it on an objective, but like you said, you can replay it.
So now, all of a sudden, Survivors is not a great target to go after.
No, it sure isn't.
So,
and I haven't done attacked at all, really, in this game. This is sort of old school Sith style here with core Palpatine, core Vader, just kind of sit back, control the board, and not really attack, but...
Yeah. I think, we've said many times before, you and me have the more aggressive versus the more conservative play style.
Right.
I probably would have popped Survivors on my turn.
I was probably hoping I had some more blast.
Yeah, now you got the Guardian with the shield, with the Survivors.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get things off the table again.
All right, so looks like he's grabbing the bow rifle and putting it on the freelance slicer. Okay.
Yeah, if he had the resource, it gives him something to do with him.
Yeah. And...
I didn't know he had 2 of them in there.
I didn't realize he had thrown 2 in there either. I must have missed that. So he's got 2 of them on there now.
Right.
Well, that makes that freelance slicer a little bit tougher to deal with and more of a threat, since it gives your enhanced units get a black gun and a white blast, and you can enhance Spectre or Smuggler character.
You just put a trust on him.
Yeah, and he put a trust your feelings on him.
Well, when you can't have Yoda, you make something else a universal soldier, I guess.
Right.
Because now you can send that guy with all kinds of pain.
Right, so I almost basically would have to win Edge here. Now, I think he played out a lot of cards, so he probably doesn't have a ton left for the Edge battle.
Yeah, I hear you would have to block with Palpatine.
Right.
And just put at least 2 tactics on that guy.
Right.
If I'm him, I send him with the shield and put the shield on him.
Yep, it looks like that's what he's doing. He's attacking something. He's attacking Emperor's Cabal. He's putting a shield on, and he's using the Guardian.
Yeah, you need to block with Palp, win Edge, and put all 3 focus on that guy.
Yeah.
That's the only way you keep him from swinging.
Well, I guess Yeah, because of Trust Your Feelings. Yeah, I got to
He
put 3 on there.
he still has 3 cards in hand. Did he? Well, okay, 2 of those cards he just played came from his discard pile.
Right, that's right. Yeah, so he's got 3. It looks like I got 3 or 4, I think. Maybe I have 4. And I am blocking with Palpatine and Dr. Evans in. I should have blanked the Guardian so he wouldn't have had shields. Could have used the deck collector.
Yep.
I probably just forgot.
Well, it's because you had him all game and not used him.
Yeah.
That's probably why you forgot.
So he only put 1 in. I'm putting 2 in, probably fearing a twist right now.
Yeah, because we know what's in there because of the Guardians.
Yeah. And he had, well equipped, he just freed up Ron. I had 3 though. So I'm going to win. I'm going to win Edge. So like you said, I'm pretty much going to have to triple focus.
Yeah.
The stupid freelance slicer.
Those, the bow rifles, it's the blast is edge dependent, but the gun is not, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah, so you got, otherwise he's going to kill Palpatine.
Yeah, that's why I got to do that. Well, actually, he has a white gun and black blast, so he would only get 2 guns in on Palpatine, but it's not worth it.
White gun. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Right, so he could, because I'm going to have to shoot with the outer rim guy.
Yeah, I was thinking he had a black gun.
Right.
For his base.
Right. So I think I'm doing exactly what you said. All 3 on the freelance guy. So he shielded 1.
Yep, and then the Guardian whiffs, and then the Dr. Evans gets to tickle something.
Yeah. All right, so you use Trust Your Feelings, and then look like I'm getting ready. What am I gonna do? Am I just striking, or am I gonna have something else to play here?
I think the Doctor focuses Q Ron and strikes the Guardian.
Right. I might be trying to think about timing something so I can get a shield on Palpatine after I strike. So I'm going to put, yeah, you're right. So I'm focus Ron.
There's that deflection.
Tried to shoot, so he deflects.
I called that how many turns ago that deflection had the Doctor's name on it.
Right, so he just deflected it back rather than getting the damage or putting somewhere else. He took out Dr. Evanson.
At least you're smart enough to do the tactics before the gun.
Right, right. Yeah, I was definitely thinking about that I didn't want to shoot first and have Shien come back at me. I probably wasn't even thinking about deflection. I just knew Shien could have hit me.
Mm-hmm.
So I managed to keep the freelance slicer from getting any damage in. The only thing he's got left right now is the believer in the old ways.
Yeah, and the thing is now, given your turn with as nasty as that guy is, the other dude with the trust and stuff, I think now you can't wait and block with Palpatine. I think you got to be aggressive and put a bunch of tactics on him, unless you can get rid of him.
Right. So he is swinging with the believer in the old ways at something.
That's interesting, because that empties his defensive board.
Yeah.
What's left for him to... What did he swing? I didn't even remember what he hit the first time.
I think he went after a Cabal at the first attack.
Okay.
I'm shuffling. I'm not sure what I'm shuffling here.
I think you used...
Oh, maybe. Okay, I used Cabal. He did not attack with that believer. He left it back.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, I saw you shuffled back in the Zizor event, the location thing.
Oh, okay.
It makes you bury a location.
Right, and I've been thinking if I could get it, I could bury survivors.
Yeah, you must have played it in the Edge, because I know you didn't play it yet.
Yeah.
Deadly Sight, Force Lightning would all be good right now.
Yeah, so Dial's at 9.
There's the all-important Guardian. That's what you need.
The guard will help here. I'll protect Palpatine and or Vader. Still don't have a lot of blast. I could use some blast. I'm going to try to explosive charge, probably Shien training, I would guess.
I would hope that's on Shien.
He is counter-stroking it to cancel it. Well, that kind of stunk. Although now I know he's out of cards.
Yep. Well, he couldn't block anyway.
Right. Well, he could have.
There it is.
And now I'm gonna force lightning rod. I'm like, okay, you want to counter stroke, then I'll just force lightning rod. I might have done that on purpose, thinking if he had something, he might stop the Shien from getting
Yep.
killed, and then I got rid of Ron.
Now, I think you have to ping the Guardian while you can.
Yeah, I don't know if I might be trying to think what to use with Vader here.
That's what I
Oh, I'm
mean.
putting a shield on with. I put a shield on Palpatine thanks to the Senate Guard,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
I think your little one damage, you got to ping the Guardian.
yeah,
I mean, you could do the Believer, but I'm guessing you'd protect it anyway.
right. I think anything I ping is going to end up on the Guardian. So yeah, so that's probably what I said. So I pinged the Guardian. I still got some resources left.
Hmm.
So I've been in control of this game without attacking at all.
Yeah, dial is at 9.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, you're likely to keep force. Yeah, I think here's where you just lock down the board.
Right. So I'm sending Am I sending them both in?
I would. I think you want all those tactics, especially with the shield being on Palpatine.
Right.
You want those tactics on the trust on him. You got to put some more focus tokens on that one guy.
Looks like I'm still considering my options here. I mean, the downside with what I've had pulled so far in this deck is I haven't really drawn a lot of blasts to try to maybe finish things off. I didn't draw a Pondo Baba. I didn't draw a Headhunter or Zizor. So,
Yeah, the thing is, though, you've got another force card available to you too now.
right.
That you lost the Doctor, but if you can take out, I guess. What is that? Oh, you're giving him the targeted strike effect, essentially, against a certain unit.
Yeah.
I don't like you either.
All right. Yeah, I'm picking something, so I don't know if I'm trying to hit the Guardian. All right, so first
Choke the Guardian and hit the other guy.
I'm gonna choke the Guardian. I'm gonna hit the Believer, and then I'm gonna targeted strike the.
You already used your
Oh,
trigger.
that's right. I already used the trigger. Yeah.
But yeah, point being, you're going to target strike that guy.
Right. I'm gonna be able to targeted strike the freelance guy that was all pumped up there.
Okay, that was a better option then, since you were able to get rid of him. Because now you got Palpatine with his shield. You can commit him.
Right.
And keep balance. Dial is going to go to 11 on your turn, and you only need one damage to win.
Right. Yep. And having Palpatine with that shield's awfully nice.
And he has an empty board.
Yeah, pretty much. He's got that Believer, but all it takes is if I have another choke, or anything I can play with to trigger Vader. That Believer is going to be off the board.
Yep.
So I take one off Dark Temple, so I got a bunch of resources back. I'm trying to probably figure out what event do I want to shuffle back in here. Got a few options. Yep. I think I put the He Doesn't Like You back in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was one way to get rid of that pumped up freelance slicer.
Yeah, pretty much everything you've killed this game you've done it in some creative, weird way.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. I didn't remember that. I did. The one thing that came back to me was playing that executive override to get rid of to cancel Ben Spirit. That was awesome. So Justin still needs a bunch of damage here. He only needs 1 on Web, 3 on Cabal, and then he needs Lucrative. But looks like he's scooping. Yeah, I can't blame him. I think I have a pretty good setup there to try to block.
He was not getting through that. You would have been lucky to take out one objective.
Right. So, well, that deck from Royal Aegis worked pretty well there. I mean, I don't know if it was just I happened to get good draws with it or not, but I was pretty happy with the way it worked, to be honest. I mean, those things let you recycle. Emperor's Cabal is nice just because it lets you recycle events that aren't necessarily Sith events. You know, you get some bonuses with Sith units with the shields or objectives, but
Right.
But you can pull those other things back if you need to, like explosive charge or or
Yeah, I think he was more going for a toolbox type
right.
deck. Although if you didn't have that Emperor's Cabal location out there, I'm not sure how well it would have worked.
Right. Yeah, I was fortunate to draw the
Um,
only one at the beginning of the game.
yeah, in which case, I mean, that's why not run two? But
Right.
then you come down to the thing, what do I pull out?
Right. Right.
And so, I mean, it really does look like a lot of it is he's just covering his bases.
Yep.
With the lucrative contract pod in there is not necessarily in there for that, but for the twist and for the enhancement destruction.
Right.
Although, I mean, you could do that with the old Wookiee or not the Ewok pod or Jawa. That's what I'm trying to
Right.
think.
Yeah, that's true.
With the Utinis.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, it's I don't know. It feels like there's a better version, but I don't know how I would make it. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you cut to what do you add? So, and then he comes down to the point that, what, hey, it's working as it is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, it was a pretty creative deck. And like I said, I give Justin credit for playing core Yoda instead of May the Force be with you. And really, he had a pretty good setup. I just got the right combination to get rid of Yoda with the old Ben Spirit on him to kind of
yeah.
certainly change the game there. So I don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I think he definitely had the potential to wreck you that game
Yeah.
if you didn't get the stuff you did when you got it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. So thanks as always for joining me for commentary, Derek. Appreciate it.
So, anytime.